Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Courtney Rollins from the Aqua Team back here today with our Capacity to Be meetup. Every third Thursday, we meet virtually, sometimes actually brick and mortar, and we just try to find great minds and great people who are doing great work in real estate investing, particularly folks who are coming from underrepresented populations, whether that's race or gender or whatever. Folks who can look like folks who maybe not always out there doing it, but can come here, show us how we can do it and inspire us to move forward and all. So today I'm really excited to have the White family, Darien and Ashley White, here with us from Comedic Management Capital. Did I say the correct? No, Comedic Capital Management.
You got it. Comedic Capital Management.
Yeah,
you got it. Hey, appreciate the invite, man. Appreciate being here. You know, always love the opportunity to share our story and help, anywhere we can. So
that's awesome. So Darien and Ashley are based out of Baltimore, Maryland, and they're I'll let them share the story, but they're primarily buy and hold investors who also have are inspiring many people, are showing people the path to do this work themselves. How do you generate income? How do you create wealth for yourself and your family using the asset of real estate investing? So Darien and Ashley, I'll just start off jumping off in. How did you all get into real estate investing?
That's a great question. So pretty much, a lot of people went to college and got straight out of college. I was lucky enough to find a job, so kind of got like right into it. I was working right out of, so I lived right north of Baltimore, and at the time, and I was commuting all the way to Herndon, Virginia. And it was like my first rotation. So I was a government consultant. So I didn't know it was a first offer. So I just accepted it. I didn't even Google Maps it to see how far it was.
Oh, wow.
And come to find out, it was 3 hours, 3 hours one way. Sometimes it'd be 6 hours one way. Traffic was horrible. The job itself was pretty horrible. I was working on Obamacare. So there was just the whole project seems very high stress. It was a very high stress project. So coming back and forth, all this time, I had a bunch of time where I was just driving in the car. I was starting to look at and see, listen to podcasts. I was listening to podcasts, listening to books and everything. And then I start coming across real estate investing, right? So real estate investing and how you could just make passive income from real estate investing. So I thought that, this would be a good opportunity. I knew that we lived really close to Baltimore. And that, I heard they had all these vacant properties out there. And I was like, you know what, why not? We can make this work. We can try this. And I mean, I'm, spending all this time, even if I'm not getting paid for this commute, but I'm doing 8 hours at least, 8 hours a day, just in a whole nother shift without getting paid. So I didn't really, so it was just that experience and really investing in my education as far as listening to podcasts kind of gave me the bug for real estate investing. Mm-hmm. And then, the rest was history. We kind of just jumped down the rabbit hole.
So you have a position out of school, you're following the path you're supposed to follow, and you have this crazy monster commute. What were some of the podcasts or some of the voices you were listening to that led you to real estate?
Bigger Pockets. Yeah, it was mostly Bigger Pockets. I think the real estate guys too. The real estate guys, they had a podcast. This is back when there wasn't really many podcasts out. Nowadays, a bunch of podcasts out, which is dope. Because you can get a lot of different exposure to a lot of different type of things. But back then it was literally the real estate guys, Bigger Pockets, and that was it.
I dig it. And what about you, Ashley? How did you get into the real estate investing world?
So I had a long commute as well, not as long as Darien's, but I was actually commuting to College Park in DC, that area at the time.
Ooh, I can feel 6 hours with the traffic.
Can feel like that, yeah. So
no joke.
Sometimes when we were not working, a lot of our family is in Delaware, and so we would go see family on the weekends. And I used to just listen to music all the time. And I'm like, one day I'm driving and D like turns my music off and turns on. I'm like, who are these random white guys like just talking about like whatever? And I was like, just give it a chance. And so I ended up they were talking about. And so I eventually, so I like totally stopped listening to music probably for like a year, and just was listening to podcasts, listening to audiobooks, and just trying to, you know, educate myself so that way I could get a better understanding as far as like, you know, what is it that deep, what idea does he have now? You know, like what other path to financial freedom that he has going on. So with me educating myself, I was able to really get on board and, you know, support him in you know, this path that we're starting to go down. And pretty much, as Dee said, it was kind of like all she wrote. So it was like, once I was on board, kind of just dove right on in and started trying to get our first investment property. And so, yeah, we got our first property back in 2017. And from there, you know, it's been up from there.
That's awesome. So you turned your car into a mobile university.
Pretty much, yep.
Strategy. I think, I don't know if it was Brent Daniels or someone out there, one of those gurus out in the world who are awesome folks, said that today as a suggestion. So I don't even listen to music anymore unless there's somebody in the car with me. Well, even when I'm driving Tanae to school, she probably knows everything about real estate and wholesaling if she listened to 10% of what listened to. That's a great strategy. So 2017, take us back there. How did you all? What did that look like? What was the property? Had you even understand, like, you know, to snatch it up? What was that about?
Yeah, so so our first property, so we looked at a lot of properties, and we ran numbers on a lot of properties. I mean, I think like we ran numbers on probably like 30 properties, 30 properties, 40 properties, something like that. And like at the time, like, man, those were the good days. Like deals are like just everywhere. Like everything was a deal. Like all the multis in Baltimore were great deals. Like, but we were looking for like, you know, property that didn't need much work. Well, that was big. We wanted a property that the seller could negotiate. We could negotiate with the seller because we heard of this, you know, getting into a property with no or low money down. So that, and then we wanted to utilize the FHA first time home buyers program so we could do the 3.5% down. Again, just decreasing our closing cost requirements, right? So we can get into this property for like relatively cheap. So that way our cash on cash returns would be like high, right? Because it'd boost your cash on cash return. Nowadays, you know, we pay more so like 20% down on our property. So it's the cash on cash return is just lower because the capital requirements are higher. So it's so we went around. We came across a property right off of the corner of Bel Air and Moravia. Still own that one to today. It was a 3-unit dwelling. We lived in 1 unit, and then we rented out the other 3 units. We stayed in it for a year, and then from there we just rented it out, and it was an amazing deal. We actually negotiated with the seller to get a concession, so we ended up walking away with a check at closing. Kind of like, you know, and I don't, you know how if you can really do that nowadays, but yeah, we got in this deal.
There's something that was going on with the property that you had to say, hey, I need to think about, reconsider the price.
Right. So there was like, when we got our inspection report, our home inspection report, there were a roof, like it needed a roof. And like the part of on the side of the building, there's an entrance, and there was no roof there, so the water would just like pour down like as people were in there. And there was like some other like delayed maintenance. It was like really minor stuff. But you know, we used that and negotiated that. We knew that the seller, they had a lot of equity in the deal already, so they were standing to make a lot of money, you know, off the sale. So you know, we used that and we negotiated to get. I think we got like, what was the check for? Like 5K?
Yeah, it was
like 5K.
To grab your first property that's going to be an investment property, you already get money at closing. That's really nice to me. That's a nice way to start off. So I'm hearing you said you all ran numbers or underwrote 30 properties before you sent out offerings or before you required one. What was your, it sounded like you had your buying criteria down, but what was your acquisition strategies? Were you Were you all going directly to sellers? Were you relying on wholesalers or MLS? What were you doing?
So we went straight to the on the market. So literally, we were looking on MLS.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, these were the good days, man.
Yeah.
Like, there was like all these multifamilies available. I think like at the time it was like maybe 150 multifamilies available.
Jeez.
Most of them had, you know, double-digit cash-on-cash return. Yeah, it was just it was a good time. So, but we were really looking for a property that really didn't need much work. So, you know, I mean, there's still a lot of stuff available, but it's
Why
just.
was that? Oh, sorry.
No problem. It's just, you know, a lot of the housing stock in Baltimore is antiquated. So it's, you know, when you go in there, you may need to do a full reno of all the main systems, electrical, plumbing, heating, cooling, roofing, you know, and the like all pretty much most of your major capex you're gonna have to redo in a lot of the houses. So, you know, that's what we so, you know, we knew that we wanted to get something that was pretty much turnkey. So that's what we found, and then we just ran with it, man, and kind of jumped out there on faith.
So turnkey, for folks, man, that turnkey is like literally you turn the key and you walk in and everything should be good and ready to go. And you all chose that strategy specific, or the strategy less work. Was that because not experience, or was that, you know, yeah, why'd you choose? Because some people, you know, they go after those ugly properties because they feel like there's even more room to negotiate and get it at a deeply discount. And, you know, they say you're making money to buy. But so why did you all choose the route of like, hey, we're going to find one for our first one that has moderate work? So
it was a good question. So it was really two things. So the first thing, since we're using the FHA, their criteria is pretty strict. So,
right.
You know, they're not gonna if you go with a regular FHA loan, not like a 203, I think 203K loan that has the renovation component. If you do a traditional FHA loan, then it's you got to make sure that the place is livable, doesn't need much work at all. So that was that, and it was also just knowing that, you know, we're new into this space. We wanted to make sure that, you know what, let's just make sure that this actually works and people will actually pay us money, like that pay us rent, and like this is actually
right. You know. Yeah. So one of that got to be scary and exciting that you all bet on yourselves, like because so it sounds like you all were, since it had to go FHA, you had to put it in either one or two of your names, so it wasn't in a legal like business entity, which is an excellent strategy, folks. You talk about, you know, no to little or amount of equity or money down in your pocket. You going in, Uncle Sam to this point allows most people up to about 5 to 10 properties in their personal name. So folks out there who are thinking of ways to get in, you know, there's a lot of terms for it. What's the
house hacking?
House hacking, yeah, that's the term. I'm about to say live and flip, but house hacking, yeah, yeah, exactly. So be able to, yeah.
The strategy is brilliant, right? I mean, and that's the thing, right? When you look at because the government allows you to put 3.5% down, that your cash on cash return is going to be higher, right? So like it really allows you to even overpay on a property, especially in this market. You know, like if it's a good property, then you're probably going to have to overpay, especially if you use an FHA, because, you know, a lot of times sellers may not even want to deal with FHA. Right. But if it's a good property in a good condition, you know, and you're willing to pay over asking, then, you know, they may entertain it. And, you know, you can get into that property. You know, interest rates are relatively low, you know, still. So, you know, you got an opportunity there to really cash flow really well.
So you all were acquiring these properties, looking at the MLS. The MLS is the multiple listing service. It's where realtors and folks for sale by owners will put their properties up in an area where everyone can see it. So if you hear MLS, that's multiple listing service. Is that still the same strategy? Do you all still use MLS or the strategies added to your acquisition? Are you even in acquisition mode, or yeah?
So I mean, we slowed down since the addition to the family. We kind of like honed down and focus. So right now we're focusing more so on some flips. So we've just finished up a flip. We have another project we'll probably start relatively soon. Got some other stuff in the pipeline. But I mean, you know, we Yeah. So we got some stuff in the pipeline. Still looking at, scale up the portfolio. Right now, I mean, we're looking at wholesalers. We work with a lot of wholesalers, bought properties through a lot of wholesalers. So yes, wholesalers, auctions, MLS, kind of wherever. Private sellers,
It broke up
going
that
directly
last
to the
part.
seller.
Well,
Private sellers going directly to the seller, which is
Okay.
probably the best way to find any properties.
Yeah.
I mean, networking, I can't, speak that, enough. A lot of time investors, in the city, you'd be surprised at how many of them, look like me and you.
Yeah.
So, if you catch them at a good time or at the right time, especially now, you have a lot of people that's kind of aging out, and there's like an, whole investor life cycle type. There's an investor life cycle, and at a certain phase, if they're not going to, have those properties as part of their estate and keep those properties, they may decide to start to liquidate those properties.
That's what I love about. That's what I love about this industry in this world, like, or this real estate industry. Like when I'm doing I'm a wholesaler, so wholesalers are folks who go directly to the buyer or the seller, get the property, hopefully at a deep discounted property where they can pass the right to the contract to an end buyer. But I was saying that I really appreciate how when I'm out there driving for all over properties, there's so much inventory. There's so many properties out there. Now, 90% of the people, 99% of the people aren't going to work with me, but still, if you put 1%, that's a huge amount. And then, just as you said, people live, people die, people grow, people change, people sell, so there's always property out there, always inventory out there. Abundance mindset. It's easy to have an abundance mindset because you're like, the cycles continue to happen. In fact, it's interesting you say you run into people in Baltimore that maybe trying to do work and the cycle. We actually connected through a network 2 years ago. I think my man Vinroy July gonna be the daggone mayor of Baltimore, mayor of Maryland. This dude has, and through the example, put so many people on to real estate and all. But I think I was at one of a networking event. We ran to each other. I actually, Shanita and I just got started into Aqua Team, and we just learned enough to get ourselves in trouble where we caught we're like the dog who caught the car, and we were picking up a property. So, but we didn't know anything about construction, and we took on pretty much almost a full gut. And Committed Capital Management, Darien led the project there and hooked us up really nice and sweet, man. That is awesome. So I wanted, can you tell us more about like your project management, your construction side? Are you doing that for other people most, or are you still more focused on your you all's units?
So a lot of the stuff that we do is in-house. We do a lot of our own projects. We have branched out and help other individuals with their projects. So it kind of really just depends. Anytime, we're kind of looking to fill some space, keep you guys busy, we'll take on some other projects. So I mean, if you're seeing this and you need help with a project, definitely reach out. You can find us at, social media at committedcapital.com. I'm sorry, at Committed Capital, or you can find us on the web at committedcapital.com. But yeah, so we are, we are licensed contractors. We can work on vacant houses. As long as it's a vacant house, we can work on it. But if you need any help, any assistance, just give us a call. Always free to, help out. Always want to help out and, looking at add some value.
Well, thank you. Now, do you have a GC license or the reason I'm asking, I know a lot of people who are doing as much extensive work with like you are find it advantageous to go ahead and get their license so that they can put in another fee, especially if you're going to private money or it's a hard money that you can bake in, which you definitely deserve if you're doing all that work. But I just wondering, is that the strategy of yours, or you more so you relying on being the owner and being able to manage from that way?
So I really like working on our own projects. You start working with other people projects, then you're kind of people have an idea, their own idea of what they're looking for in their head, and whether or not they can like articulate that. That kind of really depends on the success of the project. And it's so we always try to make sure that we do a great job with communicating and balancing like expectations, and at the end of the day, customers always right. So I mean, we take a lot of pride in all the work that we do. But it's just, that's just what it is, right? But when you work on your own stuff, you don't really have to worry about any of that.
Yeah, get it done. I hear you, man. Well, here you all are awesome over here with me, you and Darien and all the folks, man. I hope your brother's doing well. Yeah. So the family.
It's all good.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I think last time he was talking to me about going to dental school possibly, but I'll have to check in on him and see how he's doing. But yeah, the family, man, the family. How do y'all, like, when we started this thing, I guess we started in maybe the end of 2018, the beginning of 2019. I mean, getting Shanita, who's my business partner, on board was, it wasn't a challenge, but it was like, we had to make sure that, like, if she wasn't supporting it, Aqua Team wouldn't happen, it wouldn't happen. And then really a year later, when she actually like really jumped in, is when we actually got traction. I mean, whatever your spiritual beliefs are, when two minds come together on like one purpose, there's like synergy and there's great possibilities there. And she might be one of the first people to tell we were actually engaged and actually broke up in June, and it may have been because I have this, when I get obsessed about something, or I'm just all in, and I may have actually, some of the way I've approached building this company out definitely impacted our relationship. And so I just wondered how, in the most appropriate way, how has that been building, growing, and all that stuff with y'all? I'm not Eliana Barcelona. I'm trying to fix somebody's life, but y'all seem to be having a wonderful life. You have this beautiful little thing right there, and all it is just, so yeah. So what is that like? What is that like, building this out as a partnership, literally?
I would say it's definitely about defining your roles. And I mean, it's not always easy. I mean, obviously on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, like, it's always like, you always post like the sweet stuff, right? But it's not always easy. Especially once I had got pregnant, I wasn't able to be out in the field as much. Yeah. But like I said, it's all about really defining roles. So he's more so like out in the field, boots on the ground, getting stuff done, and I'm more like on the back end, and just making sure, processing paperwork, or screening tenants, or managing a social media account, or whatever the case may be. So we basically just try to make sure that, okay, like, that you're going to do this, so you do this, you do that. And it's kind of like that, when we're not stepping on each other's toes, but also kind of sets like boundaries. And if you need help with something, then you just reach out and say, hey, like, I need your help with, what do you think about this tenant? I found X, Y, and Z, I just need your input on that. So we can, I need help making a decision on something. And Dee will do the same thing. Like, hey, we're thinking of painting this wall, this color, or, going with this floor, I just need your input on it. So we kind of like bounce ideas off of each other, which is cool. But we're still married. We still have, other hats that we wear. We're siblings. We are people's children. We are people's grandchildren. We're friends. So we have all these other hats that we wear. But just working together, communication is key. Probably more so Definitely. Now than ever, especially with winter here. Just making sure a better, some type of a balance. And we make sure to designate Sundays as like family days. So Sunday,
yep. You already answered my questions. Yep.
So Sunday we gotta, like, that's the day I'm like, all right, no work, because
phones down. No,
like
no
not
work.
a lot of
that's beautiful
on Sundays. So especially because, like, I know once he's kind of like what you said earlier, like once you put your mind to something, it's like
I gotta get it.
Like a train, like he's just gonna keep going.
I see that, yeah.
I'm like, a little bit. So Sundays is the day, like, hey, no work on Sundays. So that also comes down to having like a good team as well. So having people who can, be there when you can't be there. So like if we are going to fly out somewhere to go see family, or if we're on vacation, that our projects can still, move forward. They can still happen with us not having to actually like be there.
That's crucial. And I've heard this phrase, clarity is kindness. And so to hear you all say that you have had conversations, it sounds like ongoing conversations about what the roles are, instead of letting that like organically happen. And then you're like, okay, who's doing this? Who's doing this? That's a wonderful thing. I was looking down because right now this is my maybe third time or second time actually reading this, probably backwards here, but Traction by Gino Wickman. Oh man, this thing has been so awesome, helping helping me and Shanita like define our core values, the way we do the work and all, and approach it. And the folks out there, if you haven't seen Gino Wickman's Traction, you got to pick this up. Look through it, read through it. It's a great manual for helping people define roles and define your operating system. Were there any tools or any resources that you all used to help you do that type of work?
Tools or resources, not really. I mean, just a meeting, sat down, and we just hash it out. Like, this is all the stuff that has to be done. All right, who's gonna do it? Right. And most of it starting out was like, okay, this is it. Like, it wasn't. We didn't have much. Actually, I take that back. We did have my brother, Ashley's brother. So as far as construction, there was a lot of things that we kind of delegate. And then as we kind of built over time, we got more reliable contractors, and we could kind of offset and then delegate that work as well. But really, yeah, just sitting down and we define all the roles and then kind of just put names to it.
Yeah, and I would also say capitalizing on each other's strengths is also helpful in defining roles. So if you know that you don't like doing math, why would you do a math intensive type of role? That doesn't make any sense. If you're more so, a reading type of person, you like literature, you should do something focusing more on literature. So we applied that to, our roles in the business. And sometimes, again, it's not perfect. So, when we have a miscommunication, we have to go back and sit back down. Okay, again, like you said, these are all the things that we need to do. Let's pick and choose. Okay, who's going to do what? Okay, you're good at talking to people. You're good at, balancing budget, whatever it is. And we'll assign those roles based off of our strengths. And that is in business and just in life in general.
That is awesome. Yeah, I mean, no breakup is easy, but I'll tell you, our approach to the business and to the work, I think helped us have, tried to define what our roles and what it looks like. I mean, so that's awesome that you all have been able to to do that. I love the Sunday as well. Let's just have a moment where we just reset and reconnect with each other and start off the day. That's a beautiful thing. So I was going to ask, what does your portfolio look like now? But yeah, what does your portfolio look like now?
Yeah, so right now we have roughly around 25 units in total. Most of those are rental portfolios, which is across 6 or 7 buildings. But one of those is a flip. So that's the one that we actually just finished up. And listed on the market. And so that's kind of what it's looking like. And then our properties are kind of scattered throughout the city. So we're not focused in one particular area in a sense. But yeah, that's kind of what our portfolio is looking like right now. But we are looking to switch it up and focus a little bit more on flipping properties. But our niche started out being buy and holds, and we scaled up pretty quickly doing that. And right now, it just makes more sense. Oh, it's okay. It makes a little bit more sense with us going into fix and flips. As I recently had got my real estate license about 6 months ago. Okay. So now, I can help with listing those properties, once we finish up. So I listed the property that we just finished flipping.
Congratulations on getting your license and monetizing that. That's like a smart move.
Yeah,
so, I see you all on Instagram and Facebook and social media. So what role does social media play for you all, and why? Why are you all using social media?
Yeah, so I think social media, I think social media, it kind of, that's the day that we're in, right? Show people that it's not only one group of people that is doing this type of thing. It's a good way to set an example, and also utilizing social media in a way that it's not a distraction. So being able to, post, the things that we're doing, so that way other people know that, if we can do it, they can do it too. But also that we're also here to help them do this as well. So like if you're interested in investing in Baltimore City, you know, you're interested in buying homes, you're interested in fixing and flipping, you know, you need someone to walk through your project with you, you know, where you can find us on social media, because, you know, we're not just sitting behind a screen, like we're actually out like boots on the ground, like getting stuff done. So, you know, even if I'm going out looking at a property for a client, or like if D sees something that he needs, like wants like me to check out, like taking the baby along with us too, because like
yeah, you all do that. Comes across, you all come across as very real, very approachable, very like sharp and intelligent folks from like the social media. And I know you, so I know it's true. But if I didn't know you, I'd be like, wow, these folks, they're real humans, and it's they're doing it. You know, it's pretty awesome. But you said distraction, so not use a distraction. Can you say more about that? Can you say more what you meant by that?
So, you know, like on social media, it's the whole world. You're available to the whole world at that point, right? So it's kind of like, I look at it kind of like a world star, like an unlimited just world star. World is a huge distraction. It's still around. They have So it's like, you know, you can go on there and you can look at, like, most people follow.
Oh, you're breaking up a little bit.
And people who just don't really add. Oh, sorry.
I got you. You're good now. Yep. Sorry. Yep.
Okay. You're good. So like most people follow like celebrities, right? Like people who add really no value to their lives. But like even on like my personal Instagram account, like I follow like no celebrities, right? Because I just find that it's a distraction. Like I'm not gaining anything by knowing what Cardi B ate for dinner last night. Like that's just not.
Well, Ashley,
that's just not, especially with our.
Yeah, it's interesting you say it like that, because I was just listening to, I think, Todd Toback. I got all these like mentors who, well, actually I did speak to Todd, and I did get coached by Brent Dames, which I'm like name dropping, but I don't know these folks. I just like you all podcast. I feel like I know them because they're in my daggone car every day. But I heard Todd say that, you know, the difference between being used by social media and utilize social media is like, think about consumer and producer. Like if you're going to consume social media, which is what, you know, it's set up to do, just consume and consume, it's like not as nurturing, but give yourself a limited block time, because, you know, you don't want to be, if you want to do it, then try to have discipline. But more so, you should be producing. It's like you are putting content out there, putting things out there, letting people see you in the world, because like it's an interesting time we live in with the information age and with access. And I'm not mad at influencers and people that are out there who are being loud, who are showing that they're credible. It's like this. I also heard this from Trevor Mock. Our VA Gail, who's like the office assistant, she edits our videos. She's going to do a whole bunch of like, you know, making sure we have all these links. So I'm gonna stop saying names, Gail, so we don't have to keep on hyperlinking them and citing them. But Trevor Mark talks about, well, I see Shanita jumped on. Well, Shanita, how you doing?
Hey, you guys. Look at the princess over there. Yes, sorry. I'm just getting home from running Tanea here and there. So sorry I'm a little late.
We live on Facebook. We out here having a great time talking to the whites. And I told you ears should be burning. But as far as social media is concerned, the age we're living in is like credibility is the issue. So like, is this what's going to distinguish me from another wholesaler or you from another person who a private investor could invest in, is how credible they are. And that is one thing that I've seen you all use, and we try to utilize in social media, just showing that we're real people, showing that, you know, messages, and just like you said, Ashley, images matter. So seeing that I can go out here and try and do this and grow and show the successes and failures, it can be very inspirational. So it's a very, I think, very democratic time to be alive when it comes to like access to things. I mean, of course, there's always challenges and things, but there's always going to be challenges, you know. Yeah. So that's pretty cool to see that. Are there any like strategies that you use to manage social media though? Because like Shanita does our managing for social media, and I dabble over in TikTok and YouTube. I'm all over the place. I'm too much all over the place. Even though everyone says focus on one lane and do that, I should be listening. But what do you all do? How do you manage your social media accounts?
Yeah, so we mainly do Instagram, but our Instagram and Facebook, I mean, it's not even Facebook, Meta, whatever.
The new world, metaverse.
It of makes it easier because it's like two birds with one stone. But we're very, very active on Instagram. So I used iMovie. Like I figured out how to use that. So like if you have like your iPhone, it's like an app on there where you can make like trailers or whatever. So like I use like iMovie to edit some of our stuff. Using Canva, like all this stuff is free. So like
Canva make you look like a visual artist. I remember the first time I was like, what? I did that? I just click and play. All right,
and really just going out and getting content. So whether that's, especially like when B's like out of the project, like him recording himself, I don't know, cutting a tree down on a roof, like, oh, send that to me. Like I can turn that into something. Or just today, like
I saw that.
Had a leak.
I saw that.
Yeah, right. So I'm just, people need to see, because I feel like even when it comes to like, you know, the real estate investment world, like most people just post their wins. So I thought it was like, I was like, hey, like why don't you post about like the leak that you just had to go fix? So just really most of it is just getting content and then utilizing these other platforms to make it pretty. And then Reels, like I love Instagram Reels because I'm still trying to get down with TikTok, but for some reason I don't know what it is. I don't know. I'm learning TikTok, like, you know, I'm trying to get it. But Reels I do like because, you know, you can post content. I think it's like up to like a minute or whatever. You can edit it, like, you know, a lot of fun stuff with it, and you can reach a wider audience with Reels. So that's why, like, we've been posting more Reels, so that way, you know, people as they're kind of just scrolling through, you know, they click on the little Reels icon, like will pop up. So that's kind of like what I do. And then just making sure, like I said, I have the content kind of just like lined up, and trying to post most days of the week. So if it's not every day, then maybe every other day. And like sometimes, you know, we'll take time off, or I'll take time off. But really, like just also just doing research on like when's the best days and times to post, you know, on social media.
That was my next question. Like, far as like, especially this is sort of search engine optimization, sort of like, you know, what are the algorithms that Instagram likes or YouTube likes or TikTok likes? And those change almost every 3 or 4 months with all their updates. So I was just about to ask, do you do any like, you know, training? Do you like, you know, let me check out the latest video on what are the, you know, like the Reels, like I got to hit the hashtags and I got to make sure that I actually hit enter, because if I don't hit enter on the hashtags, they won't count them, or all these different things that like some people may not even consider when you're trying to get your content out in front of people.
Yeah. So, I mean, I haven't done like formal training, but we do follow some people who are like Instagram gurus. So we kind of just, you know, and then kind of just use that. So like, I know one thing that changed was like the number of hashtags that you use. So like, you can't like, what we found, and we felt like we were getting shadow banned. I'm like, all right, IG's trying to throw shade on this, but like if you use too many hashtags, like over like 20 hashtags, like they put your content out as much. But I found like use maybe like 5 hashtags. That has worked better for us. Also, we found that like if it's a hashtag that it's not like a million people have used this hashtag, like a lot of people will find your content that way too. So it's just like you said, it's always changing. So really, like when we notice that we're not getting a lot of views or not getting a lot of likes, it's like, okay, well, Instagram must have changed our algorithm. Like, what can we do? We also notice people like shorter videos, people's attention span.
Yeah, me. I got a short attention span.
Making sure that we're doing shorter videos, and just getting creative with that. So that's kind of.
Oh my, I'm so nervous.
We're also looking just to like add some more.
So sorry, I was nervous because I'm operating from I'm turning and shooting from my laptop, and if I don't have it plugged in, it starts acting funky. But I'm good to go now. But yeah. So like when we talk about social media and being loud out there, you all make some great points I wanted to underscore. One being, you know, just focusing on one, which I should do, but focusing on one, getting it down, or which we should do, me and Shanita, getting it down. But you also can take that and apply it to other places. And I also just want to underscore that this isn't just for like you can feel good about, hey, I'm an influencer, I got these likes. It is really a way to set examples for other people and inspire other people to do the work. But it's also a way, literally, for your business, your marketing, your business to get out there, get in front of people. I can't tell you how many people message us all the time asking for support, or hey, I have this deal I want to work on, or things of that nature. Is like, so getting the word and being loud is really an awesome product of social media when you use it correctly. Yeah, we try to look at we try to like to manage it. I try to for me like actually, Shanita, what do you do to manage the social media side? How are you able to manage putting out content every day on a consistent basis?
It just depends on the week. So like today with me running all over the place, dealing like with other things, there's some days similar to what Ashley was describing where a post just may not make it. But I'm trying to set up a schedule, especially now that my work schedule has changed some, where I'm going to be posting like around the same time every day, hopefully, just so I can get in the habit of doing it. Because if not, the day will get away from me and I'm tied up doing other things, responding to buyers and all things like that. And then you look up and it's nighttime and I haven't made a post. So just trying to come up with a schedule that works.
And for folks who actually, you're in this business and you're getting some traction, whether you're a buy or hold investor or you're wholesaling or you're flipping, utilize VAs, virtual assistants out there in the world are awesome and amazing. We have some awesome folks on our team. Shout out to Gail. She's helped me. So there's SEO, search engine optimization, where you can get leads that are organic. That's the evergreen type of marketing. Shout out Trevor Marketing. So you're putting your content out there and someone wants to go and find a house or find an investor or find someone to help them become an investor. They type in blah, blah, blah in Baltimore and we pop up, or Kinetic Management Capital Management pops up, or whoever pops up, because you're putting content out there that Google or Bing or Yahoo likes and says, oh, this is credible content. That takes a while to do. It takes consistency. It takes understanding the system. So what we try to do is learn what that looks like, what that is, and then, because I knew that wouldn't be able to do it consistently, hand that process over to Gail. And so she will take the content, and just like you all, we don't like necessarily create. Well, Shanita gets creative and creates content. I'm more so kind of document, like turn and document what's happening. Well, sometimes I do create and just say so. But regardless, the content is created. It's handed over with the system to our assistant, and she'll go ahead and edit it, put it like, look, she's going to do that with this, and then we'll have a schedule to put that out for the SEO. But for the Instagram and IG work, I mean, you seem to be doing it very consistently, Shanita, so that's awesome. And it's dope to see Kinetic Management Capital doing that as well. You all gave your Instagram handles earlier. Can you give it out again? Woo, that was a lot of talking right there, Courtney. Y'all might need to. I don't know if folks heard that. I couldn't hear that. It broke up for me.
A little bit. Yeah.
Did I break that long string of consciousness?
Is it still
We're good.
No, I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, perfect. It's at Kinetic Capital, and you can find us on the web at kineticcapital.com.
We'll hook up the link in the show notes. I always like hearing podcasts say that. So we're not gonna hold you up too much. It looks like we had a couple folks pop in, a couple folks popped out, but we're gonna keep doing this. That's another thing, being consistent. You got a purpose, and you got a mission, you got a vision. Then of course you got to be flexible and all, but know that you got to be consistent. Whether it's 0 to 1 to 3,000, just like you all starting out with, like, hey, I'm not going on this 6-hour commute. John Brown, I thought Shanita was doing 4 hours like back and forth.
Wait a minute, who the heck has a 6-hour commute? I missed that.
Oh yeah, when I first started, I just accepted the first role. I was a consultant, so I accepted the first role. I didn't even look it up. So I was going from Rosedale to like Herndon, Virginia, every day. It was
Wow.
That will give you the inspiration. Be like, I need to find something. I need to find something to do in this. And really,
Heck yeah. I thought my 2-hour each way commute was bad. Lord.
Hey, no, it's still bad.
That's still bad. Yeah, exactly. That's still, yeah.
I had a 2-hour because I worked in DC for a little while too, so I had to do that. I tried to train life, and
Mhm.
Just
That's
seeing,
all right. We've all been delivered from that life.
it was just
So
older people doing these commutes, and I'm just like, you're like 75 and you're doing this. Like, oops, I can't be 75 doing this.
There has to be a better way.
Right.
oh, man.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up, I do want to ask though, and of course, Shanae, if you have questions to ask, please do. But I do want to ask, like, if there's somebody starting out, they come across this, they come across you all, what advice would you give them to help them keep moving forward?
Advice: educate yourself. Podcasts, books, mentorship. Never give up. Never give up on your dreams. You're gonna have setbacks. Even if you have a perfect plan, you're still gonna have unforeseen events. Things come up. I mean, that's just life, right? So you gotta take the L's with the wins. It's not always gonna be all wins. That's just how it works.
Wow.
And especially in real estate, it's a very small world, so you just want to make sure you do business right. You got a lot of people out here that they don't give much for integrity, and they're not. Some people are just they don't really care much about stuff like that, but that's not. So you just be cognizant of if you get into and especially who you visit with, make sure you research them thoroughly and never give up.
Yeah.
So you said that last part broke up. I think you said if you do work with other people, make sure you research them thoroughly so that you're not, that you know who they are and never give up. Oh, that's appreciate you, Darien. Ashley, how about you?
Yeah, I would say, of course, never give up. The proper mentorship matters, right? Because you got a lot of people out here charging buku bucks for a program that you have 24/7 access to them, and you really don't. So just making sure that if you're going to invest in yourself, do it the right way. So start with the free stuff, but the free stuff is only going to get you but so far. So if you do want to gain access to people, then pay for their services. Like somebody's saying, $250 for an hour, 2 hours of their time, pay that, because when you get your first property and you start getting people in there, your ROI is going to be crazy. You pay $250 and you just made, $3,000 a month, so just making sure that, like I said, you properly invest in yourself. And if you are going to work in the community, work with the community. I would definitely would recommend that.
Oh man, yeah. Oh my gosh. I don't even know where to go with it. I'm gonna go with So like if you're going into a community, like nothing for us without us, with nothing, that moves the whole FUBU. Like, make sure that you are a part of, like you're authentically being allowing the voices in that community to inform how you're working and what you're doing. That's pretty awesome.
You guys really do set a really good example of that too. We see a lot how you guys are giving back to the community and volunteering and things like that. So it's obvious that you all care about Baltimore and the community at whole.
And
yeah, I did have a question. Maurice, I don't know if you were getting ready to say something else though.
Oh no, I did have one thing to say, but I was about to wrap it up, but I had well, go ahead. I got
just really quickly, because we've known you guys for a little while now, and before the little bundle of joy was here, and so I would like to know like how life has changed, and like around the time that you were pregnant, had a lot of life changes, and so I'd like to just know like how that's been and how you guys are able to manage like the work life parent balance.
So I will definitely say thank goodness for spearheading our journey into real estate investing, because without his leadership, we wouldn't be able to be where we are right now. I was able to retire from my 9-to-5 back in August because of all the hard work, dedication. Yes, thank you. So all the late nights, early mornings, it was worth it. Some days we come from those 2 and 3 hour commutes, to go paint and do what we have to do.
Mhm.
But as far as how things changed, I mean, more communication. So like I thought we would communicate before. Like now it matters because the slightest thing can just throw everything off. So just making sure that we're on the same page. And just like I said, communicating. So it's just like, if I'm like really tired, from trying to balance stuff at home with the baby all day, trying to do the back end work, just make sure I communicate that with D. And, he communicating like, hey, like I've been at the job site for 12 hours today. Like I just need a break. So just making sure that we communicate so that we can remain on the same page, because winter just adds another layer of responsibility. And
Mhm.
Winter's coming. How many times y'all hear that joke? Winter's
it's like,
Sorry.
you're good.
How about the
But yeah, just making sure we're on the same page, and also exposing her too, like exposing her early, like when she was 4 days old. I think we had just came home from the hospital. Like later that night, I think we closed on a deal, and I was just like, like it was crazy. So just making sure that involving her in the process just makes it easier. So like if I'm on a house, like she's coming with me, as long as there's no breeze and stuff, flying around and things. But if I had like to go into abandoned homes, I communicate that with me. Hey, I'll stay home so you can go, walk through the property with the client. So just being open, honest, communicating with one another so we can stay on the same page. And taking time out for our family. So earlier we talked about like Sundays are our family day. So like that's the day that we're all together. Even if it's just like sitting in the house, not moving, just actually.
That's good. Yeah, that's really good. And I see you guys are still traveling, so you all definitely are still making time. So
yeah. And, I remember you all said a few months earlier talking about the challenges of some of the gurus out there, but that you also have invested in yourselves. And I just wanted to underscore that too, that it's very important that people, you can truncate the time it takes to get to something by leveraging other people's experiences. So not all mentorships or coaching has to be paid for, but there are some quality ones out there. And also, just as it was Ashley who said it, there's so much free content out there. Like Shadi and I, we put out this for free. So please snatch it up, take it. We're just trying to track our journey, one, so we can give out, add value, and it helps us hold us accountable. But also with that free comes the caveat of like stepping into YouTube University, or it's like stepping into a library with almost an infinite amount of books on almost any subject. And that could be challenging. So folks out there who are interested, definitely get your education, but as soon as you can, try to narrow down those voices that you're listening to 1 to 3 voices out there in the world, that then, try to find, people that are close to you that's, 1 to 2 voices, because there's so many ways to make money in real estate and add value in real estate, and they all work. But if you're hearing, like when I was listening to Bigger Pockets, it took, I listened for a while, but every one I was listening, I was, oh, I want to do that, I want to do that, I want to do that. It wasn't until I focused on wholesaling and heard Max Maxwell on there, heard Britt Daniels on there, that I went further down that rabbit hole to like find a niche. And then me and Shanita jumped on it, like, okay, this is what we're going to jump on, this is what we're going to do. But we needed that breadth, that wide, bigger pockets and those other spaces to be able to do that. So I definitely highly recommend education, getting out there and narrowing down the focus, because your riches are in the niches. Anybody, you guys want to, please, just anything you want to leave the listeners and the listener, we're going to leave the folks with as we head out of here?
Hey, never give up on your dreams. Never give up on your dreams. It's never too late to get started. And every day is an opportunity. Every day is a blessing. So just make the best of it.
Absolutely. Well, heck yeah. You got anything else to say, Queen of the Aqua Team?
I do. It's just like, it brings me joy just to see you guys. And one thing that I was thinking about is just remembering that there's room for all of us to make it, like, in real estate investing. And, so many times people get too caught up in trying to compare themselves to other people or backbiting. And it's just like, it's not necessary. It's, you can get further along this journey with partnerships and just doing things the right way with integrity. So I'm just so happy to see you guys.
Definitely a team sport. Yeah. Well, to both of you all, I think to help with the recording and all, I'm going to actually just stop it and send this on to Gail. So this is going to be me saying bye to you all and bye to everyone. All right. So I mean, like always, saying rising tides. This all sells. Peace.
Catch y'all later.
See you guys.
Thanks, guys. Y'all are awesome. Thank you so much. That was so cool. See y'all. See you.
See you. Bye, Winter.
Bye, Winter.